We start with an update from Karnataka. Survey of Madrasas is underway in the state to verify whether children going to these institutes are getting education as per the Right to Education Act. But shocking oral findings have now come to the fore, which Times Now exclusively is going to share with you. As per the State Education Minister BC Nagesh, the enrollment of the students has been reportedly found to be inadequate in the madrasas. In fact, the minister also exclusively told Times Now that even the attendance has been found in disproportion and the prescribed syllabus is also not being taught to the students. Let's first up listen into the Education Minister himself.
Oral report which I have got is really shocking. Enrollment and attendance is totally disproportionate. Even the space for the registered enrollment is shocking, because a school has enrolled 182, but the space is 12 by 15. Means even one cannot stand in that. They are not following whatever has been prescribed by the Madrasa, means by the education, whatever has to be taught. And second, as you know, the Madrasa is a religious education. It can be taught with the regular schooling, but most student doesn't attend the regular schooling at all.
Well, Times Now also spoke to one of the madrasa teachers who admitted that earlier there were no facilities to teach mainstream subjects like English, math, science to the students, and it is now that reforms are taking place in some of these madrasas.
The Karnataka government has begun a survey into the madrasas in the state, and some of the revelations that the Education Minister in fact has made is that there are quite a few discrepancies in these madrasas, and more importantly that the government in fact is looking to possibly shift the students from the madrasas into traditional education or traditional schools. Now, we're reporting from a madrasa over here in Bengaluru city, where you can see currently the education, in fact, of these students is underway. We did speak with the teachers and the faculty over here at the madrasa, and what they tell us is that while the students, in fact, primarily are studying in Urdu and Arabic and are learning teachings of the Quran, that there is also English and science and maths also which is taught to them. I'm going to take these questions straight to one of the teachers over here at the madrasa, Mr. Jawad. I'd like to start by asking you, Mr. Jawad, as a teacher here, can you tell us what the students are studying here?
Like according to NIOS, like I can full form it as National Institute of Open School. So here it was established in November 1986. So this is the act like where students are used to study, like autonomous studies are given. So here, like as a teacher, what we do here, we give both Deen, like Islamic study, and education, math and English also.
There are complaints from the parents of many of the students in several madrasas that they are not getting adequate education in math, science and English, which is why there is a need to shift the students to a traditional school.
So according to that only, before they were not like allowing to study, like not allowing, I can say, like no facilities to give them the proper education, math and English and science. But now according to that NIOS, like every madrasa is establishing a section called this, and they're allowing to study them.
So how is the syllabus for the madrasas set?
Okay, syllabus, like we are connected to a school also. We get the syllabus from them.
So yes, you heard from the madrasa teacher there, but the opposition in the state has been slamming the Bomai Sarkar over the survey drive, calling it a bid to target one community.
Government of Karnataka is meddling with the madrasas. They had ordered this survey. There is no, if they want to survey, government has every right to survey anything on which they like it. But they are specifically surveying the madrasa is they have an intention, they are not in favor of madrasa, they want to create
If at all there are certain madrasas which are not following, definitely government should intervene and make the life of the children better. But here, the delectability part is only on the verbal ground, but the reality is absolutely harsh. They want to keep one particular community targeted every time, and it is a ulterior motive of BJP, which the people of Karnataka are slowly starting to understand. But the biggest reason for this is because we have a very weak chief minister.
Let's quickly go across to Neha joining us live. She's been tracking each and every detail and passing it on to us for us to really take this forward. Neha, what can you tell us about what you found out? You just had a conversation with a madrasa teacher as well. We played that report out. We heard the education minister as well. He's clearly pointing out to the fact that there have been discrepancies, that everything that must be protocol that must be ensured with regards to the Right to Education Act was flouted in some of these madrasas.
Well, that's absolutely right. In fact, the Karnataka government, of course, at this point in time has begun a survey of the madrasas. But what is prominent over here is to note what the education minister has said, which was also later echoed by the teachers over there at the madrasa, that it's only recently that, measures like monitoring the attendance or the enrollment for that matter, and even bringing in a slightly more formal syllabus, which includes, subjects of math, science and English. It's only recently that, these measures have begun. And until such time that, this wasn't being done, there was quite of scrutiny. The government of Karnataka over here, claims that parents, in fact, had raised this complaint of students not getting adequate education at madrasas, which is why they've begun this survey. We understand that, more than 700 surveys across, 700 madrasas across the state of Karnataka are going to be surveyed, as the government has taken this up. However, it would, of course, take the government almost about a month at least to file this report. But in that interim, what the minister over there has gone on to say is that the oral observations that have come in from officers and officials over here suggest that, there is a lot of overhaul, or there's quite a bit of change that's really needed in these madrasas today. Important to mention, of course, one takeaway from what he told us was that the government, of course, is looking right now to mandate that all students who are studying in madrasas also receive education in traditional schools. So whether that's going to be a move again now that's going to, receive quite a bit of criticism from the students and the families,
that's one reason why the state government was pressing on the need to conduct surveys in madrasas. Neha, thank you so much for getting us those exclusive ground reports, certainly turning out to be an eye-opener. Let's also put out another reaction. What the state minority panel chief has said is also an eye-opener for the doubters in that sense, because the chairperson, Abdul Azim, has hailed the survey drive by the state government, saying that the government has the right to monitor any educational institution in the state.
Has the constitutional right to monitor all educational institutions, including madrasas. They can make periodical inspections and also study about the syllabus, etc., etc. Nobody can prevent the government to do this job.
All right, let's quickly open this up. We have Anurag Naidu, author, with us. Also with us is Professor Atikur Rahman, political analyst. Mr. Rahman, I want to begin by asking you. Now, remember first when the Uttar Pradesh Sarkar had hinted at the very idea of conducting this exercise, conducting a survey on madrasas across the state, a lot of noises came in from several political parties who opposed the very idea. The likes of Asaduddin Owaisi compared it to NRC. They said this is targeting one particular community. Similar sentiment coming to light with regards to what's happening in Karnataka as well. But what about these facts? What about not what just the education minister is saying, but what the teachers of these madrasas have confirmed about inadequate enrollment, inadequate attendance, how some of the subjects like math, science and English were not taught in these madrasas?
Prithvi, I welcome this debate and discussion on the madrasas because ultimately it will be benefiting my community and a large community of our Indian society. A healthy discussion, a constructive debate and discussion is the need of the hour. There cannot be any doubts about this. Now for this, if the Karnataka government and the UP government, I don't want to, go into the negativities of the arguments that these governments of Uttar Pradesh or the Karnataka government are anti-minority, or they are taking other measures on other fronts like the hijab ban and the Eidgah Maidan controversy, or not allowing the Muslim traders to function and run their trade outside the temples. No need for that. Madrasa education under the right of the minorities, if the officials are taken into confidence, we can have a very good consensus building measure along with the government. If the government wants that certain students of the madrasas, they need to have scientific temperament, they can invite these madrasa students to other schools of the state which are having science and maths and other.
But what is the problem, Mr. Atikur Rahman, in teaching them science and maths in these madrasas itself?
Yeah, I was coming to that. Prithvi, if a minority community needs clerics, then Naga sadhus cannot be expected to have mathematics and science and biology and physics in their curricula. They want to have a religious, education. And the Constitution of India allows it. What I am saying is build a consensus that students who are prone and have a mental attitude of only reading the Quran and the Hadith, let them become clerics.
But sir, if their education is confined to madrasas, how is one going to test their capabilities of any sort of a scientific demeanor if they're not exposed to subjects like science and maths, because they're only limited to going to these madrasas? How is one going to address that concern? I want Mr. Naidu to come in. Mr. Anurag Naidu.
Yeah. I think I appreciate the point and stand taken by Professor Atikur Rahman. It is very rare. But let's also understand the problem here is disproportionate attendance. And as Honorable Minister also made it very clear that the main concern here is about the enrollment versus attendance, and which is not very adequate. And what are we trying to prove here? I mean, we are all for education. We are all for education for everyone. We are all for education when it comes to the children. We are very concerned about their future. But the point is, if madrasas are being run under NIOS, it should, at least the minimum thing that should be guaranteed is we have a regular source of education. Yes, we can discuss about the courses that have been taught. The point we are trying to make here is we want to make them eligible, and we have to make them good citizens to serve the country and to serve the society, and that should be the ulterior motto. And nobody debates that, including Mr. Atikur Rahman. But why is this that we should not be talking about, and we should feel that this particular topic is very sacrosanct to the debates? No, it's time that we relook into NIOS, and it's time that we reframe our national framework around this, and then we come around a very inclusive plan for this development of the children, and that's how it should be the road ahead. And I totally welcome this decision of several state governments to do the surveys, and by survey you have the right data, and the rest all can be pulled out from the data, and the right policies can be put in place, and that is absolutely the right step. So we should take it in a very positive light.
Yes, Professor Atikur Rahman, in fact, it is some of the madrasa teachers who have hailed this very move, who are recognizing the fact that there are, subjects like maths and science being brought in. Because of these surveys, now a check is being maintained on what kind of enrollment is being witnessed, if there is space for these students to study in these madrasas, and so on and so forth. So these are concerns that must be addressed, as has been said by some of the teachers as well. I thank both of you, Professor Atikur Rahman and Mr. Naidu, for joining us here on Times Now. We need to shift up.